All right, time for our Argonaut Weekly here at GoArgos.com. Rob Walden along with Matt Rowley from the UWF Sports Information Department here to recap the week that was in West Florida athletics. Matt, we'll start with men's basketball. Kind of a tough week for Coach Bob Stennett and the Argos. An opportunity to get off to a good start in GSC play, hosting Alabama-Huntsville last Thursday, North Alabama last Saturday, both of them in front of big crowds at the UWF Fieldhouse. Unfortunately, neither game quite turned out the way that the Argos wanted.
That's right. To start off, the UWF faced a team ranked in the top 10 in the country in Alabama-Huntsville. And UAH was very impressive in their Gulf South Conference opener. The Argonauts were able to stay with them through the majority of the first half. But UAH finished the first half on a 23-4 run, and then really ran away with it in the second half. And it was an 82-57 win for UAH in that one. UWF came back on Saturday, facing North Alabama, trying to pick up their first Gulf South Conference win, and started out really well. Came out with a lot of energy and finished the first half tied up with the Lions 40-40. But the second half was a different story, and things just weren't really clicking on offense, and UNA ended up coming out with a 90-72 win in that one.
You mentioned the good starts for West Florida in both of those games. Led 23-22 late in the first half against Alabama-Huntsville. Built an early 10-point lead against North Alabama in the first half on Saturday. What do the Argos have to do going forward if they're going to take those fast starts and transition them into victories and play a full 40 minutes?
Well, one factor that may have been in there this week was the team had excellent crowds at home here at the UWF Fieldhouse, and lots of excitement, and the team started off both games pretty well. And being able to continue that momentum through the whole 40 minutes was the issue. So they're going to have to find that way to keep going throughout the whole game, and that's going to be a challenge for the team the rest of the season, and they'll try to turn it around on the road here coming up in Gulf South Conference play.
No question about it.
So Rob, also switching gears here to the women's team, the Argonauts on the women's side, an 0-2 performance at home in Gulf South Conference play, falling in a close one against Alabama-Huntsville, and then UNA on Saturday. What can you tell us about those ones?
Well, the Alabama-Huntsville game on Thursday, talking with Coach Shannon Bergen and some of the players, maybe the most disappointing loss of the season so far. And every team, takes lumps like that at one time or another, but the Argos in a prime position to win their first GSC game of the year couldn't quite close the deal. Built an early 14-point lead in the first half, led by double digits for most of the second half. UAH didn't lead the game at all until 38 seconds were left when they hit a basket off of an inbounds pass steal to take a 72-71 lead. Argos actually gave up the last 17 points of the game, fell 77-71. So a very difficult loss. It's always tough to build a big lead and then watch it slip away, and you get nervous during those final few moments, and when you just can't close the door, you're kicking yourself once it's over. So the Argos fell to 0-1 in GSC play with that loss to Huntsville. 2 days later, against North Alabama, a very good Lion team. You could tell there was a little bit of a hangover. North Alabama came out, put it on the Argos pretty early, built an early double-digit lead themselves, led by 15 going into the halftime break, 38-23. Argos came out with some spirit early in the second half, cut that lead down to 8. Then North Alabama just hit 3 3-pointers in a row, all of them in transition, all of them in about a 90-second stretch, built that lead back up to 17, and from there it was pretty much all North Alabama. Argos rallied late, but really after the contest was out of reach, fell 68-60. Final score really not indicative of the way the game was played. North Alabama, the better team on Saturday, really for the full 40 minutes. So the Argos now fall to 0-2 in Gulf South Conference play.
And one positive from the home games this last week before we leave basketball is the crowds and the promotions that were here at the UWF Fieldhouse. And Thursday, of course, was the Blizzard Bash and the Whiteout game, and we had great crowds for those one. And then Saturday was the Military Appreciation Day, and that was a highlight of the season, definitely.
Yeah, you and I have been to pretty much every home event we've had all season long, going all the way back to volleyball in August, and then several women's basketball tournaments, a couple men's basketball games as well, even the GSC volleyball tournament back in November. And taking all those events into account, this was still, I think, the two best crowds that we've had all weekend long. Folks came out, whether it was the Greek organizations or the other student organizations. People were fired up for the conference opener on Thursday. A lot of people wearing their Blizzard Bash t-shirts, the whiteout. So a great crowd there. And then, we always like to get the military involved. Pensacola, big military town. And even if you're not a military town, you can always get behind what our troops are doing. So it's great to have a lot of them in the building and another way to support them. And they supported us right back. It was a good sight to see. And even though the results didn't really turn out the way we wanted, it was nice to see the two good crowds that we had at the UWF Fieldhouse, and hopefully we can keep that going for the rest of basketball season into the spring sports.
That's right, and a lot of the promotions that you saw during the games, for those of you that either watched online or came and watched the games in person, you can look forward to seeing more of the same throughout the year, thanks to John Corwin running our promotions here in the athletic department.
Yeah, Jay Corwin at uwf.edu if you want to get involved in our next promotion. So stepping away from basketball for a moment, rewinding a bit to the fall sports season, the GSC All-Academic Teams were announced on Tuesday. 7 different Argonauts represented, not just for their work on the fields of play, but also in the classroom. Always good to see Argonaut student athletes doing well in the classroom. Tell us a little bit about those 7 that were named to the GSC All-Academic Teams in their respective sports.
Sure, this is always a highlight to the year at the different points in the season, and promoting these student athletes that get the job done on the field and also in the classroom. We had 7 from the fall. Women's cross country was represented by Stacy Patton. For the soccer teams, the men's team had Bruno Ferreira, Frank Cope, and Daniel Martini. On the women's side, it was Noha Saleh and Monica Malavasi. And then finally for volleyball, it was Jamie Nichols. So congratulations to those 7. An excellent job, and looking forward to announcing more of our all-academic players coming up here when the spring ones are announced at the conclusion of the semester.
Yeah, Jamie, I know, was on the team for the second time, and Stacy Patton, 3.97 GPA, not much to complain about there.
That's right.
Pretty good effort in the classroom, not just from Stacy, but from all 7 of those Argonaut student athletes. Another kind of light week on the schedule here at the University of West Florida Athletic Department. 1 basketball doubleheader. It's on the road Thursday night in Livingston, Alabama. Argo men's and women's teams looking for their first GSC victories of the season. They'll take on West Alabama. Tip time at 5:30 for the women's game, 7:30 for the men's game. If you can't make the trip, be sure to listen live online at goargos.com.